We offer you a combination of advice, humor, and candid camera. Humor because watching how kids torture us is pretty funny, but serious too because researchers now say that whether we become emotionally healthy adults, whether we feel secure, can hold a job, have friends, love someone, depends largely on what happens to us when we're little. So you start at the beginning.
I got my girl, another girl.
Beautiful.
Nice baby. Another girl.
Her name is Tracy, and she's off to a good start in life because she has two parents eager to help her. Their ability to tune into the needs of this little person will have great bearing on whether she becomes emotionally healthy or not.
Acting like a baby.
10 minutes after birth, Tracy opens her eyes and sees Mom and Dad for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Bright Eyes.
As recently as the 1950s, mothers would say to their doctors, "She sees me. I know my baby sees me." And the doctor would say, "No, babies can't see until they're a few weeks old." Newborns were considered blobs, just a bundle of reflexes. Today, the researchers say that doctors were wrong. The baby can see. You don't need to convince Tracy's father.
You looking all around. What you looking for? Got me wrapped around your little finger already, don't you? Yeah.
Experts say that infants, even at this age, can hear as well as see. In fact, even before they're born, babies hear and react to the outside world. We know this because of new technology which allows researchers to look inside the womb. These pictures show the fetus at 2 to 4 months. No one knows for sure if the fetus is responding to the outside world at this stage. But by 7 months, the fetus will move if someone touches the mother's stomach or makes a loud noise. So when a new baby is born, her parents' voices don't sound entirely new to her.
What do you think? You ready to go home?
Tracy is more interested in sucking her fist, but child psychologists say her father's talking to her is important because when they look each other in the eye, they start forming a connection which helps Tracy feel special and secure.
Do you like Mama's voice? Huh? Yeah, you looking for me?
What does the world look like to the infant? Vision tests done on babies as young as 2-day-old Kathy Lord estimate that they have 20/700 vision. That means I look something like this.
See me?
Hi, sweetie.
And here's Mom and Dad.
Huh? You're wide awake now, huh?
Babies see like this for about 2 weeks. Then vision gradually improves. We adults seem to sense the poor vision because if you talk to the baby like this, the baby sees a lot less than if you exaggerate and talk like this. And that's what people do.
Open those beautiful eyes. I want to see all of those eyes.
At Beth Israel Hospital in Boston, pediatrician Barry Brazelton teaches patients that even at this age, babies are individuals with likes and dislikes. 2-day-old Chrissy is Bruce and Catherine Long's first child.
Christina, over here. Mommy.
Dr. Brazelton has Catherine compete with him for Chrissy's attention.
Come on, Mommy.
Come on, start talking,
Christina.
Mommy.
Christina, honey.
They both call her. Will Chrissy prefer one voice and turn toward that person?
Yeah. Hi, there.
Yes, she chooses Mom. Dr. Brazelton says Chrissy turns to Mom probably because in the womb it was Mom's higher-pitched voice she heard best.
Look at her,
As a
Mommy.
result, babies usually respond better to high-pitched voices.
Over here. Come on, Christy.
It needn't be Mom's voice. When Dad raises his voice pitch, Chrissy turns to him rather than Dr. Brazelton.
Yeah, there I am. Come on, there I am.
Come
Oh, here I am. How's my girl?
Well, I always considered them just to be little rag dolls right from birth, and it is amazing that she can turn her head and...
Seems like a miracle that they know so much. I mean, right the day that they're born.
Sensing what the baby wants, trying to understand and follow its cues is essential if your baby is to feel understood and pleased about life.
I know Emily Carroll.
All the touching and talking and singing parents do with their babies is far more important than was once thought. Babies are hungry for the sight, sound, and touch of other humans, and without it, their emotional health is jeopardized.
A baby who doesn't get the appropriate stimulation, appropriate for him or her, is going to suffer a kind of deprivation.
Psychologist Harry Harlow studied the effects of deprivation on monkeys. In one experiment, Harlow separated monkeys from their mothers at birth. The monkeys were fed and otherwise well taken care of, but they were allowed no contact with other monkeys. They became emotional wrecks. They huddled in the corners of their cages, often biting and abusing themselves. When released into a cage with other monkeys, they were unable to play or mate or do things normal monkeys do together. Do people have similar reactions? Yes. In the 1940s, psychiatrist Renee Spitz studied orphaned babies in New York State and in South America. All the babies were well fed and clothed, and all their medical needs were taken care of. Despite this, many of the babies became withdrawn and didn't grow or develop properly. Why? Well, there was little involvement with other people. There were not enough staff members for each of the babies to develop a special attachment to another human being. In the orphanage where this baby lived, the staff was especially small. The babies had no one to sing to them or hold them. At 1 year, he could not sit up and didn't respond to other people. Not long after the film was made, he died. Say the psychiatrists, he died from lack of love. More than a third of the children in that orphanage died before they were 2. And babies need more than just human contact. Infant psychiatrist Stanley Greenspan says a bond must form between parent and child. One basic idea motivates his research.
Every child is entitled to be as emotionally as healthy as he or she can be, just like they're entitled to be physically healthy.
Behind this one-way glass, Dr. Greenspan's observed babies and their parents for 14 years. The results of his research are helping experts treat emotionally troubled babies. Dr. Greenspan says with the help of the parents, healthy babies will go through 4 stages of development in their first year. Stage 1.
In the first couple months, we look for the baby being able to take an interest in the world.
What you looking at?
You look for increasing moments in the first couple months of life of those nice, calm, alert periods. Little Elizabeth sat very calmly in her mother's lap, looked clearly at her mother, and also took in the surroundings.
What are you looking at over there? Huh?
Oh, hi, Elizabeth. How you doing? How you doing, Elizabeth?
At 2 to 4 months, the second stage begins.
We call this second stage falling in love, or forming an attachment.
Why, is that fun?
4-month-old Brian has fallen head over heels in love with his mother.
And she's helping Brian to find the human world satisfying and pleasurable.
Of course, babies can fall in love with their daddies, too.
For all those daddies who often don't think daddies are great wooers, Brian's daddy is now demonstrating how wooing a daddy can be and how satisfying this can be to a baby.
What is it? What is it?
No baby's this happy all the time. But your baby at this stage should start to smile and look at you and be this involved with you at least sometimes. Stage 3 comes at 4 to 8 months.
It's as though the baby says, love alone is not enough. I want love, and I want security, but I also want an emotional dialogue.
Where's Lily?
Most babies are able to now have impact on the world.
They see they get results for the first time.
Exactly.
Very good.
At about 12 months, a healthy baby moves to stage 4, which involves more complex behaviors like imitating.
Mommy starts drinking from the cup, and we see Elizabeth look at Mommy, and all of a sudden she starts drinking from the cup. They're having a little tea party together.
Of course, not every baby hits these stages at exactly the same time.
The key thing is not to lock a baby into any 1 month period of time, but to see a general progression from interest in the world to falling in love with the world to an emotional dialogue with the world.
And if you don't?
We should take the same concern as when a baby is not sitting up or not crawling or not walking or not talking. In other words, we have to find out the reasons why it's not happening.
It wasn't happening with Jenny. Jenny was a perfectly healthy baby physically, but she was emotionally deprived.
Here we see Jenny and her mom, and we can see that mom is feeling very, very depressed and somewhat preoccupied. And consequently, Jenny was not taking an interest in the world.
Jenny and her mother, Joan, were part of Dr. Greenspan's research program. They later came in for treatment.
Jenny was much more subdued and sober than we like to see babies even in the first month.
The bond that usually develops between mother and child wasn't developing between Jenny and Joan. By 8 months, Jenny was a depressed little girl.
At this age, Jenny took no joy in any human being and didn't distinguish mom from a stranger, and had this kind of interested but somewhat sober expression all the time. All babies will show this some of the time, but Jenny had it all of the time.
Jenny had not gotten enough of what all babies need from their parents: touching, eye contact, that type of tender, loving care. At 18 months, we see a clear example of how Joan was not tuned into Jenny.
Mother, instead of using soothing talk or soothing eye contact, begins revving Jenny up, trying to help Jenny calm down by stimulating her rather than soothing her.
Now, another baby might like to be bounced around.
The idea is to take the clue from the baby. With the baby who's getting crankier, as Jenny is now, then you switch postures.
But Jenny's mother doesn't.
Right.
Although Jenny was above average intellectually, she was 10 months behind emotionally. She rarely smiled or took pleasure in another human being.
Now, at this point, Mother was willing, for the first time, to come in 3 to 4 times a week to our infant center with Jenny. And we started individual therapy with Jenny to see if we could help Jenny learn to find relationships satisfying, learn to trust.
Psychotherapy on an 18-month-old child.
Right.
Don't these things just take care of themselves?
Some do and some don't. And the question is, do we want to take the chance?
How do you do psychotherapy with a baby? Dr. Greenspan demonstrates one technique on Brian, an emotionally healthy little boy.
He loves that birdie.
Suppose Brian couldn't get involved with people. Say he rarely looked at his mother. Dr. Greenspan uses a toy the baby does like to draw him into the human world.
Very good. Now, if you take the birdie, nice and gentle, and you put it in front of your face. Okay, see if we can get Brian interested in the bird. Look at that. Look at that. Look at him looking at Mommy now.
Therapy like that finally helped Jenny and Joan. Here Jenny is 2½, and for the first time, they are emotionally close.
Can she have her? You did good.
At 3, Jenny is, in most respects, like other children her age. And when Jenny was 4, her mother had another baby, Bob. And what a difference.
Look at how he looks at Mother. Look at that. He even talks to Mother. He's so enraptured and so caught up with her. She's warm, she's engaging.
Joan had learned how to be a better parent.
Just like some adults have to be wooed into a loving relationship, some babies have to be wooed, and one has to experiment with voice pitch, with different facial expressions, different emotional gestures, different kinds of eye contact. Every baby seems to have their own special ticket. You can find the special thing that gets that baby interested in the world.
Now, listening to all that advice about wooing the baby made me wonder, aren't these kids going to be spoiled if we devote so much energy to giving them what they want? Well, Greenspan and other experts all said the opposite's true. The more attention a baby gets, the less demanding they'll be when they're 2 or 3. Just love them, they said. You cannot spoil a baby.